improve your website, or just you could give us your URL and your name, and we could just do a little audit for you right here on the webinar. So we'd be happy to do all those different things for you. Just to quickly run through the different things that Awesome Dynamic does. Let me see. I'm going to pull up and let's see here. Awesome Dynamic. We do search engine optimization. I'm going to make sure my screen is presenting here. Present to everyone. Search engine optimization, getting your business found on Google. We do responsive web design, which is mobile-friendly web design. We do Amazon Seller Consulting, which is getting your product seen by millions. And we also do the Google Maps. It's called Street View, which is a virtual tour of your business on Google. If you're interested in any of our upcoming webinars, right here on our homepage, awesomedynamic.com, you're able to click on these register here to register for the webinar, or you could wait till the day of and just click that, and that'll get you right in. We have all our upcoming webinars through February in here already. If you want to get onto our mailing list, we call it the Awesome List. So you just come here and sign up, and that'll get you on our list. And here's all the other folks that work for us. Terry, we actually got your picture going up on this page pretty soon.
All right.
If you can send your professional photo to Jessica, she'll make sure that gets up when we swap out the pages this afternoon.
Perfect.
All right. Oh, sorry it's taken so long to get you on there, Terry.
I know, I was a little sad about that.
Wanted to just take a look at some of the recent. Well, what we can do until we get any questions from our viewers. I noticed that we got a change in our viewers here. So those of you that are just joining us, there is the Ask a Question button, and you're able to ask us questions about your specific needs or online marketing. So go ahead and post those on the side, so this way we can address those. But I was going to go through and talk about some of the most recent blog posts that we've put up. Just to talk about some interesting content in the world of SEO. But before we do that, I always like to talk to Terry about any specific questions that he's gotten about SEO or websites, because he's interacting with people all the time, and they're always asking him different questions. I'm not out there visiting people as much as he has recently, so I figured I would see if he had any.
Your mic's muted, Paul, for whatever reason.
Did we lose Paul?
No, I'm here. I'm here. Okay. I clicked the wrong button. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. So, Terry, can you tell us what questions you've gotten over the last couple weeks about SEO?
Well, pardon me, the couple things that I've been here. One of the questions has to do with a little bit about the hosting and the different types of hosting that we're able to offer. So that might be something to touch on. The other one, we may have been hit on this a few times already, but it's about the, I've already done my SEO. How long will it take? What will, if we do X amount of hours with you, what am I going to accomplish? So I think if you would just talk a little bit about the SEO as a full-time project that's ongoing, as opposed to something you can accomplish and be done with, that would be helpful.
Okay, for sure. So the hosting piece, it's interesting that you bring that up, and it is a service that we offer. The one thing that we do that's different than, let's say, GoDaddy, Network Solutions, or some of those other big players out there is they just offer the they offer a computer for your website to sit on, and that's about it. And then they're trying to nickel and dime you for every single little other thing that they do, such as privacy on your domain. They're charging you $10 a year for, or if you want emails, they're charging you extra for that. Or if you want any services in terms of backing up or restoring your site or things like that, they charge extra for it. So their initial fee is usually very low, but anything else that you might want, they're going to charge more for. So the difference that we offer is we kind of bundle some of those different things together, and one of the most important things that we bundle in there is backing up the site very often, and then also doing the updates to WordPress on a regular basis. Just within the last couple weeks, we had 2 of our clients that weren't hosting with us but had their websites hacked. And that's usually because of a weak password. I remember one of the passwords was Texas Toast 1, and the other password was Change Me 23. And those are very, very weak passwords. And what happens is there's I'm going to change this back to me talking here. What happens is there's these computers out there doing what's called a brute force attack, meaning it's a computer that tries to log into something over and over and over again with different password combinations to try and get in. And what they do is they start with words in the dictionary, usually starting with a capital letter, followed by a combination of letters, and then followed by a symbol. And most people's passwords have that combination. It usually starts with a capital letter. It's a word. That word is followed by a set of 3 or 4 numbers, and then there's some symbol at the end. And I'd say, a majority of the population uses that as their strong password, and it really isn't that strong. So I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but when it comes to website security, it's so important to make sure that not only your website's secure, but that the website is constantly being updated. Because as time marches forward, these hackers are finding loopholes to get into the websites, and if you're not updating your website on a regular basis, that leaves an avenue for them to get in and do like a URL injection or redirect your site to a porn site, or God knows what else they might do. So having that constant upgrading of the plugins, if we're talking about WordPress, of the plugins and the WordPress core is really important. I have a couple other clients that have Joomla or Drupal websites. Another couple content management systems that are out there that help you manage your website. Those also go out of date over time as well. So keeping that website up to date is really important. A lot of these other hosting companies don't do that for you, and if they are doing it for you, you're definitely paying at least $30 or $40 a month. That's pretty standard if they're doing the security updates for you. Before we get into any other questions, Terry, I just noticed that, or the other things that you had asked, I noticed that we have a question from Elizabeth Hubbard. Let me read that question here. I'll put it up on the screen. Elizabeth, first off, welcome and Happy New Year. Elizabeth says we need to migrate our web shop at funflector.com from the Amazon platform to Shopify. Question number 1. How do we make sure the SEO we have built up already doesn't get lost? And what should we think about when starting from scratch? That's a great question. So to answer that question, one of the main components to prevent loss of any sort of what we call SEO juice is to use what's called a 301 redirect. So a 301 redirect essentially is a line of code that tells the server that the web page used to be in this spot, but now it's here. And you kind of think about that as like a change of address with the post office. So you used to be located at this address, but now you're located at this address. So knowing your exact permalinks or URLs of your old site and noting all those down, and I usually use an Excel sheet. I'll put those all down, the names of the pages in one column, the URLs of the pages, and then when the new site is built and ready to go live, putting the URLs of all the new pages, and then you can use that information and give it to your tech guy or give it to Shopify in your case and say create 301 redirects for all these old links to these new links, so this way I don't lose any of my SEO juice. Those don't always necessarily have to go to the same pages because you might not have the same pages on the new site. So let's say your new site doesn't have some of the pages your old site does. You could redirect those to the home page. The worst thing you could do is not do it at all, because then what happens is when Google crawls those links that it thought it had in its database, and it turns up the 404 not found page, that actually hurts your SEO and your site begins to drop in ranking as a result. So the method would be create a 3-column spreadsheet. First column would be the names of the pages. Second column would be the URLs of all the pages that exist on your current website. And then the third column will be where you want those pages to redirect to on the news site. And then creating that 301 redirect file in what's called the HT access portion of the it's a file that you put on the server that that the server can understand. Leave that to the tech people. That's not as easy to create, but that's something that you can have your new web provider create, or you can, if you want to send it over to us, we can create it together or put it together. It literally takes us maybe 15 minutes to throw them together, so long as it's all organized. So it's not a very hard file to create, and then that just gets placed on the server, and then it redirects all the information appropriately. So that's Elizabeth's first question. I want to see if there's any other component of that question I could answer here. And what should we think about when starting from scratch? So when you're starting a new website from scratch, I'd kind of like some more clarification on that question. I'm curious why you're starting from scratch. I know if you're going from an Amazon platform to Shopify, you know, you're changing from one platform to the other. I'm just curious, what things do you want to see change from the old site to the new site? And what I guess the other piece that you should be thinking about is keeping a customer focus and making sure that you're providing an experience that's going to best serve them, rather than thinking about what's going to be easiest for you to manage. So I guess that's the one thing that a lot of business owners really don't think about. So I'm going to hit done on that question and post Elizabeth's next question. Question 2. We now have our blog, FAQ, information, etc., at www.glimling.com. The business name is Glimling. And the web shop is at funflector.com. Brand name is Funflector. Does it make sense to keep them apart? I would say no. What you want to do is have all your blogging happening on the same site that you have all your product for sale, because the way Google catalog, what we want is all the blogging that you're doing, we want it to benefit the site that has the stuff that you have for sale. So if you want the Funflector site to rank for reflective products or safety reflectors or whatever, and you're blogging about that stuff on some other site, Google sees this activity happening in two different places, and it doesn't see that there's continuity between the two. So what you want to do is have the blog be part of the main website, so then Google can see that these blog articles that you have are actually extensions of the domain. So it's going to be funflector.com/ the blog article name, and then funflector.com/ the next blog article name, etc. So what we're trying to do is build up the number of pages and posts and keywords that are all related to the one domain you're going to send somebody to buy your product. I hope that makes sense. So that's why I believe that WordPress is one of the best platforms for this, because it allows that to all be within one framework. Now, if you're going to do Shopify for your website, and you want to have a blog attached to that on the same domain, you might be able to have them install WordPress in a subdirectory of your Shopify hosting account. So this way, your Shopify account's all at funflector.com, and then in a folder called like /blog, you can install WordPress and then do all your blogging in there. And then the trick will be to make the two different content management systems look the same, so when somebody goes from one to the next, they don't know that they're changing from one to the next. I want to show you an example of this in action. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to go to rocketice.com. There's a customer of mine. They have an ice arena down in Bolingbrook, Illinois. Fairly large place. The site is built in Joomla, but we created a folder called /news or /blog. We'll see in a moment here in the upper left, where we install WordPress, but we made that WordPress website look exactly the same as the Joomla website, and the only difference is now we're looking at WordPress. We're able to manage all this blogging in WordPress instead of in Joomla. So you, the average user, are looking at this thing, and you probably didn't see anything change between the two. But if I take a look at the source code, um, I'll see that the see WP content, WP content. This is all WordPress coding. But if I went back to the home page of this site, it's going to go back to a site that doesn't have this, that has the Joomla framework, which is completely different. So what we did is we created a situation where the two look completely the same, but actually are helping us accomplish two different goals with the same look and feel. So I hope that wasn't too confusing, but that's what we're trying to do here. So, Terry, Blake, any comments or questions on that? Do you think I explained that well enough?
I think so. I got a good grip on it.
All right.
Yes, that was very well described, in my
All right.
opinion.
Now, Elizabeth also mentioned to me, can you switch your screen? Blake, are you monitoring what the folks are seeing? Could you do me a favor and open up a new?
Yes, sir. I'll do that right now.
Great, just to make sure that what I'm putting through is showing. So next question that and just so for you other folks here, I see that Michael Delat, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I will answer your question next, but Elizabeth has another question here. She says, can I have blog.funflector.com and shop.funflector.com and have them living on different sites? And the answer is yes, but the method that I showed you, having in a subfolder, is better than using a subdomain. So if you can accomplish it with a subdomain, I'm sorry, with a subfolder, so this way it's funflector.com/blog, yada, 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 and that's where WordPress lives or your blog lives, that would be better than using multiple subdomains. Because technically, it says, Blake's telling me that Terry's screen is the broadcaster. So what I'm going to do is activate my little thing here to turn off Terry's screen. And let's see, we're going to turn off Blake's screen. Okay, so everyone should see me now. Is that right? Blake, do you see me?
It looks like there's a slight delay, so let it update in a couple seconds.
Okay. Let's see here.
It's still showing Terry's just image now, not his screen, which is odd.
Okay.
Even though on the webinar it shows as your screen should be broadcasting, so something's funky.
Gotta love technology, right?
Right.
Let's see. Okay, that's me, so I take this off. What's interesting is, Blake, when I turn you off, I go away.
This is very...
All right.
Still Terry.
Really?
Yeah.
What a bunch of lucky people.
Yeah. All right. Let me try something here.
Apologize, folks. This usually doesn't happen. It's probably just a tech bug right now for the new year.
Okay. Let's see. I think I got it figured out now. So, Blake, there might be a little bit of a delay, but I think it's going to come through here. All right. Let me go back to the questions here that Liz had. All right. Question. Answer questions. Okay. So getting back to your question, Elizabeth, yeah, having the subdomain is one way to accomplish it, but it's for SEO purposes. Having it in a subfolder is better because Google will see those subdomains as different websites potentially. So, all right, let's get to Michael's question. And Elizabeth, please keep the questions coming. We love answering the questions. So let me go to questions. Welcome, Michael. Michael says, my website comes up in Libertyville photographers as 1 to 3. However, if the person is searching for a photographer for headshots, I do not come up. How do I make my website come up for headshots? All right, great question. And in fact, Terry was telling me you were asking him this question. Was that earlier today, Terry?
Yes.
Okay. So let me give you the rundown on this. So let's go to this screen, the Rocket Eye screen. Here we go. By the way, I have 4 screens in front of me, so I had to figure out which one I was using here. Okay. Terry's now using 3 screens. He started with 1. He was kind of reluctant to go to 2, and then he loved 2. Then he had to get to 3 right away. So once you start, you get screenitis, is what it's called.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna do. He says he comes up for Libertyville photographers. Let's take a look at this. So there you are, and this is great. You have 5-star reviews. You have 6 of them, and you have the number 1 is Studio West with 0 reviews, and you have Darcy with 2. But I don't know whether or not you know this, but you have to have at least 5 reviews to have your gold star show. And statistically speaking, this result gets 42% of the clicks. This one gets 12. This one gets 8. But because you have the gold stars, it's likely that you're getting the most traffic out of this, because having those gold stars increases your click-through ratio, or CTR, drastically. So this is a good situation, but to get in front of them, you'd probably have to do some citation work, and we could explain that later if we need to get into it. Essentially, consistency, your name, address, phone number, a bunch of different places, and stuff that you could do on your website. But let's take a look at your other options. So if I just search headshots. Okay, now I'm going to type in headshots, and right now, if we look at the bottom of Google, it's telling me that I'm searching from Grays Lake. If I use precise location here and click on that and allow it, it's going to update to my actual location, which is Round Lake Park. So it's going to try and provide me results that are close to me if it's providing any sort of local results. So we can see that Libertyville Headshots is coming up here, which is probably the closest place to me that has it. But I'm wondering if I actually search Libertyville Headshots, you got anything different? It wants to auto-correct me to headshots as one word, which probably is due to Google seeing that more people listed as one word than 2. Otherwise, it wouldn't be suggesting it. And again, we got this Libertyville headshots coming up here. So one of the reasons why this person's profile is coming up so quickly is because headshots in their business name. Although that's not the only reason. But we can also see their website has headshots in the name. And if we take a look at their site, and then we'll pull up yours as well. We can see the word headshots is right here on the page. We see the word headshots here. We have headshots up here as a page on the site. I'm just going to view the source of this page and see if I can type in headshots as one word. We can see that the word headshots in the page shows up 30 times on her home page. All right, and I'm going to try it with a space. Okay, none of them come up that way. Let's see if we go to another page on our website. Let's go to the headshots page on our site, which goes to her about page. I'm going to view the page source here and search for headshots. The word headshots on her about page comes up another 45 times. So between the home page and this about page, the word headshots on our website, just by looking at 2 pages, is coming up 75 times. All right, so let's take a look. Now, I don't know if they've done it in all the right ways, because there's a lot of things you want to be careful about. You know, the way you put the words on your page without getting a Google penalty for keyword stuffing. But I want to go back to your website and see how many times we have the word on here. Okay, so we have the home page come up here. So I'm going to view the page source, and I'm going to type the word headshots. So the word headshots comes up 0 times here. And let's see if you have a headshot page. Here's a headshot page here. So I'm going to view the source. Again, I'm going to do headshots. Again, 0 times. So you can see the difference between you and her is on 2 pages we checked on her site and 2 pages we checked on your site. She's got the word headshot 75 times and you got it 0 times. So that's probably why. And that's yeah, and I can see that this site, I'm curious what it's built in. It says powered by LiveBooks, and I'm just going to take a look at what you have here. It doesn't, I don't know much about LiveBooks or how it works to make a website, but I don't know how much ability it's going to give you to customize the content on the page in all the different ways that you can. But right here, I'm taking a look at your, was this the home page here? Here, let me go back to the home page. I'm going to look at the source here to see if I can give you some tips. All right, view the page source. And we'd see here, Okay, so I'm just taking a look at your keywords here. So these are probably keywords you punched into your website, and I see that the description is right here, and we can see that your title is right here. So right away, I'm seeing a lot of keyword stuffing, meaning that we have a zillion keywords, different keywords on the homepage. The description should be telling us something about your business and about you. Instead, it just has photographer and a whole bunch of town names. And the title has a whole bunch of keywords, and it doesn't really tell us yeah, there's no focus to the keywords here. So I want to show you an example of a really well-focused um, uh, focused keywords on a website. It's one of my clients that's out in West Coast here, and he's trying to get ranked for a term called adrenal fatigue. And I'm going to show you the source behind his site. And if we take a look here, under keywords, he's got one keyword. One, not many, just one. And this one page on his website has that one keyword, which is adrenal fatigue, in his title. So if we look for the title here, I think it was right below here, we'd see that one keyword in exactly that order, spelled in exactly the right way, is existing here. And we can see that in the description we have a sentence describing what this page is all about, and we can see that the one keyword, that same keyword, exists right here. All right, moving on, we have the H1, which is essentially the heading of the page, which is this thing right here. I use a different tool to display the code a little bit more accurately. So this heading, this H1, which is a huge indicator of Google what this article is about, has the word adrenal fatigue in it. So that one keyword is appearing right there. And then if I go here, we have a subheading, again, with the one keyword. If I take a look at the content here and start reading through here, I'm probably going to see adrenal fatigue, again, in the paragraph copy. Now, if I actually inspect this photo on the page, we could see that the title of the photo, or I'm sorry, the file name of the photo, has the one keyword in the name of the JPEG of the photo, and it's only that one keyword for this particular page. We could see that the title and the alternative text are filled out for this particular photo, and you can see that the one keyword, adrenal fatigue, is also in both of these, right here and here. So what they're doing is, if we take a look at the code on this one, we're embedding the keyword in all the ways that Google wants. We're staying very focused on just the one keyword this one page on this website is going to rank for. And if I view the page source here and type in adrenal fatigue, you can see that he's got it embedded 110 times. Now, if I search adrenal fatigue, this is an extremely competitive key term with over millions of results, and he's trying to compete against all these people in the nation. He's ranking a very healthy, let's see, 4, 5, 6 right here for that particular article, not his homepage, but that particular article on his page. And that's because it's focused in the correct way. So if you don't have that focus for one keyword per page, you're always going to struggle with trying to rank. So that is more true when you have more competition. When you have less competition, it might not be as hard. But we could see the difference between super hyper focus in doing it all the right ways versus just throwing a whole bunch of stuff all over the place will make a huge difference in how you rank. So I hope that's kind of a brief topical conversation about why you would rank for headshots versus them, and we can see that just the lack of keywords, the keyword in general, just missing from your website altogether is a pretty big issue with you not showing up.
That was a
Blake,
great. That
what
was
do
a
you think?
great. I think that was great. The only other thing I could recommend is having a separate service page too, just for headshots, so you can get that keyword in there. Not only, like you said, somewhere on the page. And I don't know if he does, but somewhere on the page, in images that are in the headshot service page, and that will also help you in the rankings and have the Google bots find all these little goodies to help you rank for that term that you'd like to. So,
Right.
but a very good description, and I couldn't have done it better. And the alt tags and the images, super important from what I've learned over the the past year or two, and I would definitely move forward with that as a simple way to get that on your site because a couple images, some alt tags, and some keywords, and on the home pages could do wonders for you. Maybe not instantly, but give it a little bit, and let the Google bots crawl that and figure that out.
Yeah, the other thing that I'm noticing here, Blake, is however this site is built with this live books, it is not it's not producing separate URLs. It looks like
Ah,
the way the website it's built, it actually is one page that just changes what you see on the page, and we can see that by all these ampersands and stuff. It's basically saying it's delotphoto.com, and then it's just producing different things on the home page. So essentially Google sees one page on your website. All it sees is one page. So
yes.
you don't even have the opportunity currently to create different pages to be able to try and juice different keywords in the way you want. So my number one suggestion to you, if you really want to get serious about some of this SEO, is get your website into something that's going to allow you to leverage what you can do with SEO with having separate pages for each topic, and that'll go a long way to helping you get there. So we use WordPress because it gives you the ultimate flexibility. So you might consider doing that. So this way you can do some of these things to take advantage of those situations. Blake, it sounds like you had something else to say.
No, I just noticed we had a change in viewers, but it looked like it went back down. But yeah, I was going to mention I think you had taught me that that's similar to Flash too, but it doesn't look like he's using Flash. With Flash, I know it's just like one
Right,
static web page for essentially all your pages, and that's not what you want.
right,
Makes it
right.
harder for you to rank in Google to find what
Mhm.
you're offering and essentially read your site.
Now see this raised in the Chicago area. Michael became attached to the camera at an early age. I'm gonna just see if Google can read that. So
I
raised.
actually now that looking at this, I remember doing an audit on this site.
Okay.
So this
Um,
is a very familiar site now.
so I just tried to search for that text on the page, and it's not showing up. So basically, anything that's being typed into this site is being
Oh
produced as a
wow.
picture, so Google can't see it. So Google's not even reading any of the text that's written in here. So even if you put the word headshots anywhere on the site, Google cannot see that the word headshots exists.
Good
So that's
find.
that's a problem. So although this site may be easy for you to manage, and actually leveraging it to your advantage is um, is another thing. Michael, please hit us with more questions if you got. Same thing for you, Elizabeth. We'd love to hear more of your questions. Terry, do you have any comments on that? I know you had talked to Michael in person.
Well, I think, I mean, summing this up, I mean, from what I'm hearing here is that if he wants to really progress SEO wise and get where he wants to be, that this is not going to do the trick for him. He's going to need to redo the site and get it to a place where all these things we're talking about can be accomplished.
Right, right. And I think Michael, the one reason that you're doing well for the Libertyville photographer is probably what you have uh, on your Google listing. So let's take a look at that if we can. Um, Michael Delant Photography. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. Give me just a second. Um, there we go. Okay, so this is your official Google My Business listing. And another thing you could do, Michael, is right here, you're able to control this. Fine art, black and white photographer by background, now enjoying digital photography service, servicing families, executive headshots. Okay, so you have headshots in there. I'd probably make it a version that has one word instead of two, because that's what Google seems to prefer. Um, and the reason you're probably ranking well in Libertyville is because you're basically telling Google in general you have an address in Libertyville and your main category is a photographer. So because there aren't that many other photographers that might have a Google listing with those two things being true, and don't have as many reviews as you. That's probably why you're showing up prominently for that in general, because Google is reading that category in town. So if you wanted to start getting serious about other words, you'd have to pursue a website that has the different keywords that we can focus on. All right. Michael has another question for us. He says, can this site be helped? Do I need to get a new site? Oi. um, in general, when I come across sites that are like yours, Michael, it seems that that's just the way the platform is. The way they built the platform. I'm trying to find your site now. Here we go. Let me go back here. So let's learn. We can see it's loading. So let's see what Live Books is all about. Create a beautiful website. Websites designed to shape how the world sees you. So they probably focus their pitch on their website to be all about making it easy to create a beautiful looking website, which is all well and good until you actually need to do something about getting it ranked. So, I think the analogy that Terry likes to use is, when you create a website, that's only one piece of the puzzle. It's like getting a whole bunch of flyers or brochures printed to talk about your business and then putting them in a closet and never doing anything with them. So SEO is all about the practice of getting the site modified and doing things out there on the internet to get people into it. So having the site there is all well and good. Yeah, it gives you credibility. Yeah, people can see your portfolio. Yeah, people can see that you're a professional photographer and see your work. But it's not doing you any favors in terms of helping you get more business, because there's virtually nothing that could be done in the current website format to do the SEO. I'm curious if they have any, if they say you can do any SEO with it. So let's see what they have here. Websites. Let's just see what they say they include in their website. The best SEO in the industry. I'd like to see what that means. Now, what's nice is we can't click on it and learn more. I'm not surprised.
Good car salesman.
Yeah. Let's see here. Better business.
No, as we're looking at this, even saying that it's great because people can see all Michael's stuff on there is only true if they are on the site and getting to the site, which is the point of what we're talking about. So,
right.
I said it's all there, but if we're not driving people to it with all these other techniques, then it's not getting seen by the people he needs it to see it.
Right. I'm going to see. Okay, so just to kind of get an idea of what Google is seeing on your site, Michael, I just did site colon and then I put your domain, and it puts it in order of what it thinks is most important based on what you have. So your homepage, and then it has this delatphoto.com/website.html. I didn't even see that on a page on your site when I clicked on it. Let's see what comes up. So then this is the second thing it's pulling up when I click it, which doesn't even look like your site. This looks weird. I don't know what this is. And then if I go to the about, this actually is going to your about, but what text is it reading? It's probably only pulling the so it says raised in Chicago area. So it's pulling this, but I'm curious how it's doing that, because it's coming from this about-p_2.html, but when I get to the site, it redirected me to this page. So it looks like they're using some sort of weird way. Get the cache. It's not letting me get in there. So they're doing something to get the content read by Google, but this is definitely not where I'm going when I'm clicking. So we're sending Google a lot of mixed signals about what we have there. So it looks like they are getting some of your text found, but they're not doing it in the right way whatsoever. Let's see. Michael's got another question here. Comment, clients like the site and I'm getting calls. Well, that's good. That's the other. There's two sides of SEO, Michael. There's the technical side and the human side. And I think your site does a great job at the human side, which is communicating what you do. You could probably have a call to action. So this way, a big button that says call now. You could have your phone number up here. so this way they don't have to look around for your phone number. You can put your address up here so they know you're local without having to guess. So those are things that you could do to really enhance the human side. You're also have this giant space up here before I get to the content. If we're looking at this on some different devices, the first 600 pixels, which is about here, is what we call the above the fold content. So it's about to there. So I'm looking at a 24-inch monitor, and I can see the whole site. But let's say I'm using a smaller laptop, I'm getting chopped off here. If you actually got rid of that giant space at the top, people on smaller screens would be able to see the full photos without having to scroll down at all, which would be great. Let's just see if this thing is responsive. So if I shrink this down to a smartphone size, so I'm looking at this on, let's say, an iPhone here, I have to zoom in and scroll to be able to see the site, unless they set you up with a mobile site. Let's see if they did.
Let's plug it into that tool. But something I wanted to point out while you maybe plug that into the tool is he's probably absolutely right. He is absolutely right. I'm sure he gets calls and the clients like the site. Let's see if I can word this right. We sometimes pretty's not always better. Not that his site isn't pretty, but say sometimes simpler is better too. Just doing what Google wants, and we could even make a site that looks just almost identical to whatever his site looks like right now. But in the back end, with all that code that we were showing him earlier, with all that available to Google, I think he's going to see even more clients and even more people that like the site and purchase his stuff. The idea here is sometimes there's plenty of websites out there that can sell you on something that's pretty but doesn't do the function that you essentially want. If it's still pretty and you got a client from maybe a business card or they did find you on the internet, that's not to say that a much better coded and created site won't do numerous and much higher ability of sales force, so to say, than that website. So if I was to create a functional car, the insides of like the engine and the internal parts, it might look pretty on the outside with all the bodywork and the plastic or metal, but on the inside, is it really, is it a quality engine? Is it quality metal or what used in the frame? Ideally, that's I guess what I'm trying to get at. Behind the scenes, is your site really optimized for what Google, which is 80% of all searches in the United States, are when people are looking for something, optimized for what you're selling? And I don't know if I worded that perfectly, but that's trying to kind of where I'm getting at.
No, that's a great analogy. Comparing it to a car, is the quality of what's under the hood matching the aesthetic of the site, and that's a very important factor. So when you shop for a car, you want to make sure that you're getting good quality components as well. So just taking a look at the mobile-friendly version, I don't know how it's getting produced, but we can see that Google sees it as basically a white background with nothing. It does give you a score. It does say you are mobile-friendly because we have the little what they call a hamburger menu here to navigate. By the way, Michelle, I did see your question, so I'll be getting to that in a moment. But then if I go over here to Page Speed Insights, it gives you specific things that you could be fixing to make your mobile site better, and it's probably going to give you some specific suggestions in here. But the point is, Michael, you have people giving you calls from the existing website, and those are probably people who find you for Libertyville Photographer because you're coming up for that, and it's probably for people that you hand your card out to, or other people who refer people they know to you. So the referrals that you get, I'm sure they get to the site, and it does a good job at closing them into a new customer. However, it's the people that aren't finding you that could potentially increase the number of customers you have exponentially. So if you were coming up for headshots, if you were coming up for wedding photographer in Lake County, if you were coming up for bar mitzvah, I think I saw that as one of the different things you do. So if you were coming up number one for all those different key terms for different services that you offer, how many more people would be getting into your website when your website does a great job of getting them to call you, well, if you could get that in front of exponentially more people, you'd be getting exponentially more phone calls. So that's what the SEO does for you. So yeah, your site might do the close pretty well, but if it's not built in the correct way, you're not going to be getting in front of all those new potential customers that you can't reach on your own.
That's
So
very well said. Maybe we could even show him a bright local ranking page for some of our SEO clients or even us, just to get him an idea of how many search terms you could possibly ranking for, and how sometimes a client's not ranking for anything, or someone say like um, Sinorama or Libertyville Massage is just loaded because we've been working on them for so many years, just so many number ones down the line, and maybe that gives a visual idea of what the back end of a site can do for the functionality of Google searching.
I'll pull that up really quick, and then I'm going to get to Michelle's question with the time that we have left here.
But these are all really great questions. I'm glad people are interacting and finally asking us some really quality questions.
So rank tracker, let's see. Here we go. A Bright Local is a company that we use for some tools to track rankings and stuff like that. This is Libertyville Massage Therapy Clinic in Libertyville. They've been doing SEO with us for quite a long time. This is their what we call their rank tracker report, and it shows all the different key terms that we're tracking. So Lake Bluff Acupuncture, Lake Bluff Massage, Lake Bluff Massage Spa, Lake Bluff Massage Therapist, Lake Bluff Spa Massage, Lake Bluff Therapeutic Massage, Massage Therapy in Lake Bluff, Sweetest Massage in Lake Bluff, Lake County Acupuncture, Lake County yada, 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 yada. So you can see that we're tracking all these different words. So just in here, let's take a look at some of these Lake County words. Lake County, so Lake County Massage Therapist shows up position 8, 13, 16, and 44. For Lake County Therapeutic Massage, she shows up position 7, 9, and 27. So yeah, Lake County is harder to rank for than, let's say, a particular town. But if we get into Libertyville for all the different things she wants to rank for, so Massage Spa, she ranks number 1, 6, 9, 12, 25, 29, 30, 38, 39, 41, 43, 47, 49. She's effectively pushing her competition off the first, second, and third page of Google by monopolizing as many different spots as possible. If you look at Libertyville Massage Therapist, she monopolizes the first, second, third, fourth, sixth, ninth. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top of the 10 results that Google shows in the first page as a result of doing SEO the correct way. So when you really start getting into it and doing it the right way, you start dominating in the different keywords that you want to. So it's amazing how it happens when it does start happening.
Yeah, I think that's a great visual aspect to what's really going on behind the scenes. And it's not like we're, making fun of his site or whatnot, but really a pretty face doesn't do rankings like you just showed for Libertyville Massage. You're not going to rank for all those words with just a couple images. It takes a lot of work, but and a site that can actually allow Google to read all of that good stuff.
Right.
But absolutely, great questions, and hopefully we're not just saying, "Hey, look, we know what we're doing. We're showing you guys, we're the real deal, and we have experience with this, and here's some of our clients." So.
Right. Thank you, Blake. We got Michelle Grasma. She posts, we use BigCommerce to create our website, but we used a custom template. It's called myphonepocket.com. Does your company offer SEO help with websites built on other platforms? I have a puppy and loud children in the background, so I can't turn sound on. I'm guessing she's saying. So Michelle, I'm going to email you after this and give you a link to the video so you could rewatch this when you don't have the puppy and the screaming children around. But yes, the answer is yes. We can help you with a site that's not built in WordPress. However, usually what we find is there's a certain number of things we can do until we hit a brick wall, and then we find ourselves revisiting the idea of changing the site into a WordPress website so we can do full optimization. When you hear SEO, which stands for search engine optimization, the word optimization usually means doing something 100% or filling it out all the way, which kind of means the same thing. But when there's 300 things that you could do to a website, and the platform that your site is built in only allows you to do 10 to 15 to 20 things, then you're only going to be able to achieve a certain percentage of the total number of things that you could be doing to promote your website. So sometimes that works. We have a client, Dr. Julian McLaughlin, out in Lake Bluff. She's doing phenomenally well for chiropractor in Lake Bluff, weight loss, health coach in Lake Bluff. She's competing against Lake Forest Hospital. She's competing against other acupuncturists, etc. And she's doing that all with a Wix site. But we're starting to get into an area now with some of the optimization that we want to do, where she's starting to consider going to WordPress because she can't get to that next level unless she's able to control these things. She's been emailing Wix and saying, hey, I want to control this aspect. How do I do that in Wix? And then they respond and say, I'm sorry, that's not something that we offer in our platform. Where if you had WordPress or some of the other fully customizable content management systems, you can do all those customizations. I don't know much about let's see, the BigCommerce solution that you set up, Michelle. They may offer a lot of those customizations. They may allow you to get to the 80th or 90th percentile of all the things we know that you could be doing to optimize your website. But until we really dig into it and see what there is, I wouldn't be able to tell you right off the top of my head. But it'd be interesting, Michelle, if you would send us the URL of the site, because then we could run it through a couple tools to see what Google has to say. One thing that I always find amazing is that the couple tools that I put up on the site before, let's see, it's in my phone pocket, that's the templates. This is the template. But if I run this thing through PageSpeed Insights, it's a tool that Google gives you to learn about what could be done to make the site better. So if I just threw this template site in here, let's see what Google says about it. We got a couple other questions up here. So this right off the bat has a red, which in Google's eyes is a pretty bad rating for the mobile version. It tells you all the reasons. If you can expand these and see all the different things that are bad about this template that you might want to consider before using it. And then the desktop.
Share your screen, Paul. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm not doing that. Let me. Thank you for just saying it, Blake. I appreciate that. So
Didn't mean
here.
to interrupt.
No, that's okay. So here's Google giving a 59 out of 100 rating on this mobile version of the site. It's showing all the different things. If you expand these, it tells you what should be fixed about all the aspects of this template. So you'll know going into using this template, all these things will be issues in Google's eyes when you start. So you're starting with something that's having some issues. And taking a look at the Google or the desktop version of the site, it's showing you all the different issues that are with the template right away. So you're already going into something that Google doesn't really like that much in terms of optimization. And this tool just gives you kind of like a tip of the iceberg of some different things you should be considering. But when Google's giving you a bad rating to begin with, that's not a good starting spot. But I'd be happy to talk to you about it more, Michelle. There is, like I said, there is a lot we can do to help you optimize a site that isn't in WordPress to get you as good as you can be within the framework that you have. Let's see. We got 5 more minutes, but we have 3 more questions, so let's see if we can go through these. Michael Delot says, I think I need to talk to one of your salespeople, and that's what Terry is. So, Terry, why don't you write a note down to give Michael a call, and we can chat with him a little bit more. Let's see. Elizabeth says, how easy is it? Is a WordPress website or WordPress web store to implement payment functionality, shipping integration? So, there are two. There's one of the main plugins for WordPress to help facilitate a shopping cart is called WooCommerce, and that's one of the most popular ones that's there. I'm going to share my screen again and pull up their website on the screen so you can see it. What's nice about them is, let's see, WooCommerce. A shopping platform customized for WordPress, and I think the plugin's free, and it's the support that they charge for. And there's a million people all over the world that you can tap into, us being one of them, that know about WooCommerce. There's a million plugins that work with WooCommerce for, let's say, shipping integration. Let me just type that in. So WooCommerce shipping integration. There's probably a zillion YouTube videos of people showing how to set up every aspect of WooCommerce that you could ever imagine. Um, Shipping methods and extensions for WooCommerce. So here we go. This is on the WooCommerce website. They show they have fast UPS, USPS, and FedEx label printing for online sellers, and it's a free plugin you plug into the site. Here's fulfill your Woo orders with the ShipNation. You can see there's all sorts of different plugins that you can either buy or implement for free that plug into the site. So the nice thing about WordPress is that it has all these plugins made by developers all over the world that help you accomplish what you're looking to do. You can see down the edge here, or down the left side, payment gateway, so integrating the payment piece. So I use Authorize.net. Here's a plugin to make Authorize.net work with WooCommerce. If you're going to use Amazon Payments, Stripe, PayPal, you got all these different things that they have ready to just plug into your site, and of course there'll be a little bit of configuration, then it'll start working. So there is a little bit of legwork that needs to be done, but at least you're in a platform that you can customize for your SEO. Let's see here. Elizabeth asked another question. She says, Shopify has a blog function within their system. If I use that, should I post my blog posts on both Glimling and Funflector? And should I repost some of the most popular older blog posts? The answer is no. Remember in school, if you copied somebody else's paper, it was called, well, it's still called plagiarism. Google has a duplicate content penalty, meaning if what you have written on your site exists on any other site on the internet, both sites will go down. So it was funny, Terry, who used to be with ServPro, we talked about this often because all the ServPro franchises get the same content from the corporate headquarters, and there's a million of these different websites that have exactly the same text on it, and they're basically all pushing each other down. So what you want to do is migrate your blog post to the blog area of your Funflector site within the Shopify system. So this way you can have that one piece of unique quality content on that one website, and then remove it from the other. And then what you can do on that other site is do what I was talking about with the 301 redirect and say this blog post used to be here, but then go to this other site to see it right now. So this way you don't lose any juice on that either. Let's see here. My 4 o'clock call is calling me now. I'll have to. It's my brother. I'll call him back in a little bit. All right. And should I repost some of the older blog posts? So yeah, you don't want to duplicate content. And then the other thing that you should do with the content that you post is make sure that you do authorship on your website. So essentially, you're telling Google, I authored this content, and this is mine. So if anybody copies this and puts it anywhere else on the internet, they are the people who should be penalized, not me. So you can implement this authorship on your site with what's called schema markup. So this way Google knows that you're the originator rather than the copier. So one last question, and then we got to go. Does that mean I should not duplicate content on Google Plus either? The answer is yes. You want to minimize duplicate content anywhere. So a lot of people use like Hootsuite to do a whole bunch of easy posting on social media all over the place, and it's just posting the same piece of content in a whole bunch of different places. Although that makes it easy to effectively promote your stuff in one place all over the place, but it is creating duplicate content over the internet. So none of it's really going to rank that well in general because it's the same stuff everywhere. So whenever you're writing anything, it's always good to make sure it's at least 80% different than something else that exists on the internet. So no copy and pasting. All right, we're wrapping it up here. Wanted to wrap up with one thing. If you liked what you see here, please let me show my screen here.
Yes.
Please visit. Please leave us a 5-star review for the work that we did here. Elizabeth, I know we already got yours, so thank you. Michael and Michael and Michelle. Let me see if I can actually put in our website here. Michael, Michelle, if you wouldn't mind going to awesomedynamic.com and you scroll down to the bottom, there's like this little Google icon down here. Or review us. It's right here. You just click this review us icon. That's going to bring you to the spot on my Google listing to leave me a 5-star review. Say that, hey, we really love this webinar. Thank you so much for all the help. That would be really, really appreciated. Also, if you want more great information about what we do, we have a blog. We're writing articles about the most important things you should be knowing about SEO. We're posting this blog 2 or 3 times a week with great information. If you don't want to come to our website and look it up, you can just sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's getting on the awesome list. So you just come down here to get on the awesome list, fill out your name and email, hit submit, and we'll make sure that we get you on our newsletter. We'll notify you about the webinars at the beginning of the week and on the day of, so this way you can join us and ask your individual questions. So anything that I missed, Blake?
No, I think just if you like what you saw here, besides just the review us button, is tell your friends and family. You know, we're a great family company. We're slowly growing. More people are starting to come to our webinars and ask questions, and we love it. It generates good, positive feedback for us, sales for us, and hopefully increases sales and clients for you guys as well. And it's a free webinar, and you know we're not selling you anything yet, but it's totally free. So spread the word if you want. We're good people.
Thank you, Blake. Terry, any last words?
I think he summed it up just well. So we appreciate everybody coming, and tell your friends and bring them on next time.
All right, fantastic. All right, see you later, folks. It was great
Happy
having
New
you.
Year again.
Yeah, Happy New Year.